All right, I'd like to call this meeting of the West Haymarket JPA to order. To my left is Councilman Tom Beckius, and to my right is Regent Tim Clare. I am Mayor Lyrin Gaylor Baird. We are the West Haymarket JPA, and this is a public meeting subject to the State Open Meetings Act, a copy of which is posted at the back of the room. As we proceed, the clerk will read each item on the agenda, and staff will then come forward to present on the item. We'll then take public comment, and we would just ask that any speaker on an item would limit their testimony to 5 minutes. Note that it's on the record, and with that, we would like to call the first item.
Approval of the minutes from the JPA meeting held December 19th, 2025.
So moved.
All right, any adjustments to the minutes?
No changes.
Okay, seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 4, approval of the payment register for November through December 2025 and review of the expenditure report as of December 31st, 2025.
Good afternoon. Included in your packet is a payment register with 2 months of disbursements for the West Haymarket JPA, November and December 2025. The total payments were $20.4 million for those 2 months. Some of the highlights within the payment register, we had our principal and interest payments for our debt service. So you'll notice approximately $17 million of debt service payments are included there. A couple payments for the scoreboard and Wi-Fi projects constitute the majority of the capital expenditures within the period, about $700,000 to Mitsubishi and about $350,000 for the Wi-Fi project. We also had insurance premium payments of $363,000, parking payments and payments to the DEC, and then several regular operation and maintenance costs that comprise about 6% of the total payments. I won't list all of those one by one.
Joe, just for the thousands who are surely watching from home, would you
Yeah.
just state your name and your role for the record?
Sorry.
Thank you.
I am Joe Dollinger. I'm the treasurer of the West Haymarket JPA. Yeah, I'll eventually remember to do that. I think I remembered last time. All right. For the operating expenditure report, so the first page of that report gives you kind of a high level of profit and loss for the West Haymarket JPA. It's the statement of revenues and expenditures. You'll see our total revenue for the first 4 months of the fiscal year was about $15.2 million. The biggest part of that is occupation taxes. As you know, that was about $8.4 million, which is right in line with budget. It's about 4.28% above last year. We budgeted 4%. So really good numbers there. Other bright spots, we had a parking that was well above budget for revenues there as well, $560,000 over prior year. Total expenditures you'll see is about $24.2 million, $24,166,915. And all of that is really just right in line with where we would expect to be at this point in the year, according to our budget. The next page is our occupation tax collection summary. Again, that'll show you the breakout of restaurants versus hotels and versus our car rentals. So you'll have that breakout there. We're again 4.28% above prior year, right where we would expect to be. And those occupation tax figures correspond to what we had originally projected to be at in year 2045 in our original projections when we established the West Haymarket JPA. So really strong numbers on the occupation taxes.
Those figures are after the expenses that you went through.
On the occupation tax summary, that is just the occupation tax revenues. So that's that simple table with 4 rows that says restaurants, motels, and car rentals, and then the total. So
And you have the expenditures,
I don't want anyone to mishear you.
but literally hundreds that are watching?
Thousands are watching from home need to hear what you're saying, so.
The ones or tens? My mother is not. The expenses that we just were discussing,
Yeah,
after those expenses, the occupation tax is there to help fund some of those expenditures.
absolutely. That's our primary source of revenue for,
What I'm saying is that, or I'm not asking it clearly, but the expenses that we just went through, are these occupation tax figures after those have been considered, or would these expenditures need to come off of this to show give an accurate showing of where we're at from an occupation tax standpoint?
they want it. So the expenditures are covered in part by the occupation taxes. If you want to see where we're at from revenues net expenditures, you'll flip to the prior page to that statement of revenues and expenditures. And you'll see we still have a cash balance of about $40 million.
That's what I was getting at.
That's our low point of the year because we just paid our debt service payments.
Okay.
And we'd expect to see that climb steadily.
Annual debt service payments plus principal would be 20.
It's right around 23 to 24 million.
We could almost go almost 2 years and not take in another dime of occupation tax and still be able
Right.
to cover our expenditures.
That's right. And we have a policy that was approved by resolution to carry that balance at 1 times our debt service payment. So we're well above that. We're at about 1.75. Yep.
I guess my point was I just want to make the community know that we are in strong financial position.
Right, I'd agree. So pages 3 and 4 are the really the detail of our operating expenditures for the year to date. Those will give you expenditures by category. All of our major categories identified in our accounting system: materials and supplies, capital outlay, and debt service. Those are all right in line with our budget and where we'd expect them to be at this point in the year. Page 5, or the next page in your book, excuse me, is the income statement for Pinnacle Bank Arena. And that shows you how the arena has operated from a profit and loss standpoint for the first 4 months of the fiscal year. Some highlights there: the adjusted gross income was around $4.2 million, $620,000 over budget, so great results on the revenue side. Expense side at Pinnacle Bank, right in line with budget, at $2.497 million. That gives us a net income of $1.7 million, which is $600,000 better than budget. And if you're looking year over year, quite a marked improvement from that. We were at a net loss last year, so we're actually $2.2 million better than we were year to date last year. So really great results at Pinnacle Bank Arena. A couple other things I wanted to touch on today. I did send the board members an email earlier this week, but I wanted to reiterate our bond action that was taken by Moody's this week. So 2 days ago, Moody's upgraded our bonds to AAA for the West Haymarket JPA. That's the highest rating that's possible. So that's wonderful news. They cited specifically the strong financial position of the city and the West Haymarket JPA. And with
You
that,
just applaud. That's
yeah,
great
yeah,
news.
it's wonderful
It is
news.
really
Yep.
great
With that, I'll take any questions if you have them.
Chair, thank you. I just wanted to know, actually, for my, not a question, Joe, so
No.
we're good there. But I just wanted to know for my fellow board members as well. I had requested that Joe be in touch with Mitsubishi earlier this week to put in a request for a refund of the tariff that we had paid for the scoreboard, to at least get in line for that. So that is something I discussed with Joe and wanted to make you both aware of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your hard work. All right. I think at this point, we can take a motion on the payment register.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Becky, a second by Claire. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Taylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Claire.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 5, bill number WH26-1, resolution accepting the financial audit and management letter and report from Forvis Mazars for the period ending August 31st, 2025.
Good afternoon again, Joe Donlinger, Finance Director and Treasurer of West Haymarket JPA.
Address.
Oh, 555 South 10th.
Most
All right.
applause.
I joked. So great news here again. We received our audit report from Forvis. Clean audit, unmodified opinion. And I have Amy Schreck with Forvis here today to kind of give you some highlights and answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Amy Schreck, Assurance Partner with Forvis Mazars, 1248 O Street, Suite 1040, Lincoln, Nebraska. And I am here on behalf of the team to present the results of the 2025 audit. As Joe mentioned, we did issue a clean audit opinion on the financial statements. I'll go through the results as an overview. I'll primarily be referring to the report to the Board of Representatives and Management that gives an overview, kind of a roadmap of the audit results. We conducted the audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, as well as generally accepted government auditing standards. With that, we provide reasonable assurance about the financial statements that they are fairly stated in all material respects. We also, because of that government auditing standards, provide an additional report along with that. We don't provide an opinion on the internal controls over financial reporting, but if we were to discover material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in the internal control structure, those would be communicated in that report. There were no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in that report. Going through the letter, we also point out some significant accounting policies that are detailed in the financial statements. One of those that we highlight is that due to the nature of the JPA and its separate legal entity status, it reports the fund of the JPA as well as then the government-wide financial statements all on the same financial statement. That's not typically seen for governments. They either tend to have multiple funds, and so a separate government-wide statement like you might see for a city or a county, or they just have fund statements like you might see for a utility, for example. It's not wrong that it's that way, it's just a little unusual. So we call attention to it just to point that out. I know you're all well aware of that presentation, but we highlight that in here as well. We also call attention to some of the financial statement disclosures that might be ones to pay additional attention to. The disclosures about the fair value of the assets and liabilities, some of the contractual arrangements, related party transactions, as well as commitments. In the letter, we also have a section about any adjustments that were identified by the audit. Those can either be recorded by management or they can decide to pass on those audit adjustments, depending on materiality. We didn't have any adjustments that we proposed as a result of the audit. We also include a copy of the management representation letter so that you can see the representations provided by management. But overall, it was a very positive result, as Joe mentioned, with the opinion and no internal control findings. Happy to take any questions about the results of the audit or the financial statements if you have any.
Thank you, Ms. Schreck. Any questions from the board?
No.
No? Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your assistance and guidance. We appreciate your work, and kudos to the team.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further discussion or questions for, sorry, would anyone like to testify on this item? All right, seeing none.
Seeing none, I'd move approval.
Second.
Moved by Beckius, second by Claire. Please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Claire.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 6, bill number WH26-2, resolution approving a contract between the West Haymarket JPA and Advanced Digital Solutions for new TVs at the Pinnacle Bank Arena with cost not to exceed $115,300 pursuant to bid number 25-208.
Good afternoon. Chris Connolly, City Law Department. This is phase 3 of a 3-phase project to replace TVs in Pinnacle Bank Arena. These particular TVs, some 40 plus TVs I believe it is, would be in the north and south lobby areas. And then the replacement of all these TVs, that we've been experiencing the last several meetings will be completed. And this was bid out, and $115,300 is the bid amount. So people from Pinnacle Bank Arena are here, Mr. Brown and Mr. Savona. If you have questions that I can't answer, but I'll try and answer whatever I can.
And it appears that this is both for the actual televisions, but also the installation of them and the work to install them
That
as
is
well.
correct.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chair.
Questions? Okay, thank you, Chris. All right. Would anyone else like to testify on this item, item number 6?
Seeing no one coming forward, I move approval.
Second.
Moved by Beckius, second by Claire. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Claire.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 7, bill number WH26-3, resolution approving an agreement with Quadient Leasing USA for the rental of a postage meter for use at the Pinnacle Bank Arena for a 5-year term for a total amount not to exceed $5,045.40.
The blurb kind of states everything right there. It's an $84 a month expense for the postage machine, and it is at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And I believe this is the same outfit that we've been leasing a postage machine from in the past. And so, unless there are any questions, I would ask for your approval.
Thanks, Chris. Would anyone like to testify on this item?
Seeing no one come forward, I would move approval.
Second.
Moved by Beckius, second by Claire. Any further discussion? All right, please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Claire.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 8, bill number WH26-4, resolution approving the third amended and restated facilities agreement between the West Haymarket JPA and the City of Lincoln, Nebraska.
The facilities agreement is the main agreement between the city and the JPA that sets out the relationship between the two parties and how Pinnacle Bank Arena will, and other projects in the West Haymarket area will be operated and controlled. And so over the years, we have had opportunities to amend and restate the agreement, mostly to include new projects that are being put on the list. And we're going to do that, ask you to do that today. But we also do some updating of language in there. And the JPA has done this in the past. And if approved today, we would then take this to the City Council for approval. The updating language doesn't really change the direction on anything. It's to clarify certain things with regard to certain duties and that sort of thing, but it doesn't change really any of the aspects of it. I have worked with bond counsel on this. Bond counsel, he and I are both satisfied that this does not impact the bonds at all or any of our obligations. And so with that, if there's any particular questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them. Otherwise, we would ask for approval.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Would anyone here like to testify on this item? Item 8. All right. I'm
All
not
right.
sure. Do I see one, or is this someone just getting ready for a different item? Okay. Okay. All right.
I
He's
would.
gonna come and object.
I would
Yeah.
move approval of the item. Move approval of 26-4.
Second.
Moved by Beckius, seconded by Claire. Any further discussion? All right. Please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Claire.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 9, bill number WH26-5, resolution approving a security agreement between the West Haymarket JPA and the City of Lincoln for security at South Haymarket Park for an amount not to exceed $9 million.
Good afternoon, members of the JPA. Councilor Beckius, Mayor Gaylor Baird, Regent Claire. I am Rick Hoppy, Mayor Gaylor Baird's Chief of Staff. Thanks for the opportunity today to talk about what I believe will be the crown jewel of the South Haymarket, our South Haymarket Park. This has been a long time coming. There have been 2 community visions that suggested that we have a downtown urban park and community gathering space. The 2005 downtown master plan suggested that we have that type of amenity, as well as the 2010 West Haymarket redevelopment plan. So today we stand on the cusp of doing something truly historic, fulfilling that community vision, and at the same time putting an anchor in place for the next round of redevelopment of the South Haymarket. We expect the areas around this park to have lots, if not tens of millions of dollars in private investment. I think the JPA over the years has done a spectacular job of turning public investment into economic development for the community, and this continues that trend. So South Haymarket Park, what is this crown jewel of the South Haymarket going to look like? It's 8.5 acres. It's going to have the largest playground in the Lincoln system. It's going to have the largest in-ground skate park between Denver and Des Moines, attracting skaters not only from our community and surrounding communities, but possibly other states to come and spend time in Lincoln and spend dollars. We're anticipating a common ground plaza with an art piece where people can gather and be together. There's an all-season community building which will host various events, be available to the public, house parks employees who will be keeping their fingers on the pulse of the park, and of course provide restrooms for the park as well. We anticipate 100 trees with native planting, off-street parking, a connection to the Chris Beitler Trail, and some open green space. It truly will be a spectacular park, and I think really be a great jumping off point, not only for development, but as a place of respite for our residents, our employees, and a great place to take your kids if you're visiting our community. So why am I here about this park? Because there are two questions that we need to try to answer. First of all, the financial question. How do we fund the construction and endowment of the park? And the second question, how do we ensure that that park is a safe and welcoming place? I would tell you the answer to both those questions is the West Haymarket Joint Public Agency. Taking on the financial question first, the park is a $25 million investment. If you include the improvements to the South Haymarket environs around the park, that's an additional $7 million for about a $32 million investment. But of that $25 million investment of public and private dollars, we still need another $9 million to finish out the construction and endowment budget. We've approached the JPA in part because of what I just mentioned about this being a long-time plan to complete the South Haymarket and serve as that public gathering space and urban amenity. And so we have approached the West Haymarket JPA finance leader as well as the finance director of the city, Joe Donlinger, and we asked the question, would we still be able to meet our fiduciary responsibilities, our bond commitments if the JPA were to provide this $9 million to this effort? In short, can we afford it? I'm not going to completely speak for Joe, but obviously if I'm here, he said yes. Joe, I am hoping you will verify that at some point. That'd really be a short meeting if it not. So toward that end, that answers the first question. The second question about how we create a safe and welcoming space is in front of you in the form of two different agreements that represent different approaches to how we do this, but complementary approaches that I think will be really beneficial not only to the park, but to the South Haymarket as a whole. The first one is a security agreement. And this resulted from conversations I was having with Regent Claire, who said, hey, Rick, I think we have a really nice model down the road in Omaha with the Jean Leahy Mall and Riverfront Development, and their plan to provide 24-hour, 7-day-a-week security to create that safe and welcoming feeling for visitors and people in the park. The elements of that proposal are in this security agreement with a couple of changes. At the Jean Leahy Mall, they were providing private security. We, after discussions with the chief of police, decided on a model where during the daytime, when most people are in the park, from 7A to 9P, there'd be off-duty police officers, and then we'd have private security from 9P to 7A. And the thinking, at least on Chief Morrow's part, is she has highly trained officers who are trained in conflict de-escalation, who are used to dealing with the public in a variety of settings, who know how to apply the right resources in the right situation. For instance, if we run into someone with mental health difficulties, a police officer can contact the Center Point Outreach Team. And who can not only enforce park rules, but an off-duty police officer can actually enforce the law. So we think with their great reputation in the community that they will really lend to that feeling of a safe and welcoming place, particularly since most of the interactions on security will occur when the park is full during the daytime and early evening hours. Then private security will take over at that point. They'll patrol the park, monitor the cameras, and if there's a situation that needs their attention, they'll bring that attention to it, whether it's the form of LPD in to resolve a criminal issue or some other issue they can bear resources to bear. So the park really will have that 24/7 element of security that we're hoping to have. The agreement also calls for the police chief to be the person responsible for security of the park. And we did that for a couple of reasons. Number one, if we have off-duty police officers, there's going to be rare events where that off-duty police officer may be needed for a bigger and more important issue. Say there's some sort of riot in downtown Lincoln after the Nebraska basketball team wins the national championship. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Let's just say it does.
What doesn't happen?
What? To be on record clearly, Region, I hope they win the national championship. I don't want the riot.
Right.
Okay,
For those.
so that breaks out. Chief Morrow needs to be able to say, look, right now the priority for safety in my community is that situation. I'm going to move the off-duty police officer to that, send them back to security at the park after that situation is resolved. We think that's an important consideration in all this. The other consideration is making sure that our dollars are effectively and efficiently spent on security. As you may know, it gets awfully cold in January in the city of Lincoln. And on those days where it's 15 below zero, there's a foot of snow on the ground, we may not have security in the park because there's not going to be anyone there. On top of the fact that off-duty police officers, there is some element of volunteering, it's going to be hard to get people there. The point is the chief will make that decision based on conditions like extreme weather so that we're preserving those dollars to be put into security at a later time. That's why the agreement in front of you says at least 2 years. We think that the dollars we have would get us through straight security every single day of the year through those 2 years. But on the days we don't use those dollars, we can simply shift them to days beyond the 2 years if we choose to do that. Okay, so that resource is preserved for the days when we actually need people in the park. That's an important consideration in putting this together. The effective date of this security agreement is when our very talented Parks Director, Maggie Stuckey-Ross, declares the park open. We wanted to make sure the resource didn't get ahead of the actual park. We thought it would also be a prudent move in terms of having a few months to get our act together on putting the off-duty rotation together, as well as having an RFP for the private security service. So again, the effective date of this 2 years starts when the park is declared to be open, which we think is an important thing and part of the consideration here. I'm going to invite Mr. Connolly to come up and clean up any of the mess I've made here on this agreement or anything else he wants to point out before we get to the next one.
I think you really kind of captured everything. The effective date was something that I wanted to make sure was clear. So the first payment will be made within 21 days after the effective date. So whenever the park is open, then the first payment gets made. And then it gets made on the anniversaries thereafter. And then the agreement will expire after the final disbursement is made in 3 years after that.
I think an important point here is the cost. This is a $1.5 million estimate that we have for the 2 years of the agreement, about $750,000 a year. That will come out of the $9 million we're asking the JPA to provide to us, and I'll give you a full financial accounting after we get through all the pieces. The second agreement in front of you in regard to, it's called an agreement for services, but really what we're talking about is ambassadors. That resulted in my conversations with Councilor Beckius, who really wanted to have that kind of asset in the South Haymarket area in its entirety, not just the park. And if any of you have been to a community that have ambassadors, they're there to provide a safe and welcoming feeling to the people in the area. My wife and I, in early February, were in Oklahoma City for a basketball game, and a gentleman in a brightly colored vest that said ambassador came up. Apparently we looked like tourists, I don't know, and said, "Do you need directions getting to the Paycom Center?" Indeed we did. But I think the feeling you left with us is that someone's watching out for us. And I think that's what you want here, and why the ambassador program with 2 people patrolling throughout the entire South Haymarket area will help visitors feel welcome, help them find things, and intervene when the circumstances call for it. After me, Mr. Todd Ogden of Downtown Lincoln Association is going to fill that picture out a little bit more about what ambassadors do. This agreement obligates the city to provide that service to the JPA. We'll have a separate agreement between the city and Downtown Lincoln to provide it. The thinking is that between the hours of about 1 to 8 on Monday through Thursday, we'll have these ambassadors coming in and out of the area, as well as on Friday, obviously a little later, 1 to 10. And then on Saturday and Sunday, we envision kind of an ad hoc thing, that they'll be there when there's some great event going on, like the farmer's market. Occasionally have street dances, things of that nature. There's some great St. Patty's Day events in that area. That seems like a really good role for them. The effective date of that,
With those, aren't you?
I'm sorry?
You're familiar with those.
that seemed like an undue reflection on my character, but all right. Anyway, so you got an effective date that's similar to the one we have in the other agreement. When the park opens, we think that's going to be kind of a good marker. And again, we think having time to allow Mr. Ogden to get his program in place is essential here, and we anticipate the park opening later in the year and providing us that space. This program will cost about $200,000 for the 2 years. Now, to get the finances and bring this part of it home, we're requesting $9 million, of which $1.7 million, $1.5 million for the security agreement, the $200,000 for the ambassadors will come out of that $9 million, and will leave us with $7.3 million for the park. That covers the $6 million for the construction, gets us about halfway to the endowment. Now, I think you probably are going to ask, how do we get to the rest of this? And I think the solution Mr. Clare had suggested to me is proving to become true. We certainly have had some donors that have been interested in making sure that the park was safe and welcoming. And in putting these agreements in place, we feel very good about going back to those donors and trying to raise the rest of the money now that that issue has been put to bed, or hopefully been put to bed by this meeting. So that's how the finances will run. Mr. Conley, what have I missed on the agreement for services in the South Haymarket?
I think you've captured all that as well. Excuse me. One of the things that I think is important to understand is both of these agreements are designed to have the JPA be a funder of these activities, but not be responsible for those activities. So once the money is paid over to the city is then responsible for making sure that the agreement with DLA is done, that the security arrangements are made with LPD and whatever's private security. So all that's going to be done strictly by the city. The JPA will have no contractual obligations to make sure that these activities are actually carried out.
You remind me of one more thing that's important here. In the security agreement, we talked about the police chief's powers to make some decisions. Here's one of the things the chief specifically can't do in deciding security for the park. It can't be for financial reasons associated with her budget. I.e., let's say she finds out she's $500,000 short in her budget, although Mayor Gaylor Baird would never let that happen. But she can't just simply shift those dollars and not provide security service to fill in a budget gap she has. It has to be for the reasons stated, either extreme weather or we have a bigger security issue somewhere else is roughly what that means. But that's to provide assurance that the security dollars don't go to some other purpose. Anything else from our end of it? All right, I got a few other people coming up here. I think Mr. Ogden's coming next. Diane Stinton.
I have some questions for you, Mr.
Please
Hoppy.
do.
Thank you for the extensive presentation. And I want to just note for everyone, we are talking about both items 9 and 10. I apologize, I should have called them both. They are related, and so I will turn it to you for a question on either one of them.
Yeah, I'd like to get Joe. I had two questions relative to the financial piece. One is, I want you to answer the question that Mr. Hoppy brought up, because we haven't got your answer on the record yet, but I want to know, are we financially in a position to be able to do this? And then the second piece we talked about was our bond covenants, and that we would not be jeopardizing any covenants, anything like that. And I think in light of the news that you brought earlier, we're probably okay. But I would like to have that in writing, and I requested that from you. And so were you able to get I think it's Mr. Rogers that was going to provide a opinion or a letter or something to the effect that this would not jeopardize in any way, shape, or form our bond covenants or ratings or anything.
Yes, I believe Mr. Connolly requested that letter, and Gilmore and Bell did provide a letter stating that this activity would not jeopardize any bond covenants.
Okay, and then now you can answer the first question I asked. Are we in a financial position to be able to do this?
Yes, we are. So when I analyzed this, I did look at some of the actions from Moody's on our rating, some of the requirements that we've passed resolutions by the West Haymarket JPA for fund reserve balances. And considering those, we have requirements on keeping at least a year of debt service, and then keeping about $5 million for other purposes. In short, we don't get anywhere close to touching those thresholds in the resolution by authorizing a capital expenditure of $3 million per year for 3 years. The analysis I looked at, we would stay at about 1.5 to 2 times our debt service levels for the year. So we'd be almost twice what we need according to that resolution. And we would be well above the financial ratios and metrics that Moody's uses when they consider ratings actions for our bonds. So they've cited specifically keeping a debt service level, a fund balance level of 50% of our yearly debt service. Our resolution doubles that and has it at 1 times our debt service. This keeps us still at 1.75 to 2 times our debt service. So we really don't even get close to any of those thresholds that were brought up by Moody's when they rated our bonds. So with those 2 metrics in consideration, those 2 benchmarks, I have complete confidence that this capital investment can be funded without any adverse effect to our bond rating or to a fund balance position for the West Haymarket JPA.
I was going to ask you one other question, though. I really appreciate the work that you put forward with the security, because this is a big expenditure, and it's in an area where we've spent a lot of money, and finally this is the basically the end of the footprint to the south anyway, and so it's really important that not only are we spending a lot of money to make a beautiful park, but that we provide security so people can capitalize and use it. So I really appreciate the willingness of the city to come together and recognize that this is going to enable families from all sectors of our city, all parts of our community, to utilize this park and feel like it's welcoming, it's open, it is a place where children can play and families can play, and I think it'll be a neat thing, and then the security just ensures that. And I think the ambassador program on top of that will be an added layer of security as well. So thank you.
Any more questions for Joe or Rick?
Okay, a few people to follow to fill in some of the detail. I'm going to call on Mr. Ogden to come up, followed by Diane.
Welcome.
Hello, Todd Ogden. I'm president and CEO of Downtown Lincoln Association, 206 South 13th Street, Suite 101. Thank you, Regent, Mayor, Councilor. I'm here today to talk about how Downtown Lincoln feels about this role in the Ambassador Program. Before we get there, I do want to note that in 2010, when the bond issue passed and the arena was up there, we had 3,000 residents in downtown Lincoln. Today, we're looking at over 12,000 residents in downtown Lincoln. And when we see those numbers rise, the number one thing that we have that people wanted in that 2018 aforementioned downtown master plan, besides Husker National Championship, was a green space. That's what residents want. They want a space to bring their families, to bring their dogs, to bring their pets, and to enjoy and have it be attracted as we continue to become that 24/7 urban neighborhood. So I'm really excited because this allows an opportunity for us to have a green space that can be a world-known green space that is an active park. I really appreciate what everybody's done to not compromise this park. This park has a wonderful design, and if this goes through, that design will be as proposed, and that's what we need. Because the number one thing we need with this is an active park. And part of that activity that makes people feel safe, and one thing that we want is this ambassador program. So this ambassador program is something that we've wanted at downtown Lincoln for a while as well, and this will be a great opportunity to kind of pilot that study to show what ambassadors can do. We have a wonderful maintenance crew that takes care of all of downtown. We're very proud of how clean and green downtown Lincoln is. We, along with the city, have worked with Centerpoint to have outreach workers who've placed hundreds of people into housing and in different areas around to help support our populations experiencing homelessness, loitering, panhandling, all of that stuff. Now we have our bike police back. But one thing we don't have is, what do we want the visitors and residents and employees to see? The first thing we want them to see is really those smiling faces that are going to say, hey, we have those downtown, but I want to guarantee you have that. And by having ambassadors, you guarantee in an area you're going to feel more safe. You're going to feel it's going to be more friendly when you have those faces looking at you saying, hey, I'm here. I'm dressed in a way you know that they are here as ambassadors to help support what's going on. They're letting you know what activities there are. They're there as disruptors. That's a really important part of ambassador programs around the country, is not only are they helpful, but they're in ways, if you have areas that may be a little bit dormant, and this applies to all of downtown, they can be in that space to make sure there are no areas, just in case there's not anything going on. Again, I don't fear that for this park because it's designed in a way where you don't have those dormant sites. It's going to be active. So really having these ambassadors move around in an area to ensure the activity is extremely exciting, and I think this is a really smart thing to do to couple with the safety and security. These ambassadors will be the first point of contact to say, hey, if somebody's here, do I need to contact the maintenance crews if it's a maintenance issue? Is it a safety issue? They can deal with some of that, but they also can get our bike police and the security on there as quickly as possible. Is there an outreach issue that needs to be in there? And is there just a visitor issue where, hey, we're here to talk to you about what's going on and what you can do, what arena events coming next, and they'll be able to go up and down Canopy Street for this. So that's kind of what we're looking for with this program, and we want to start here. I think I've always said with a 2 full-time equivalent staff of ambassadors, we can make really big damage into making the area that much more friendly and that much more safe. And I'm just really excited that this opportunity would allow us to do that and really continue to hope to make downtown Lincoln as a wonderful destination for everybody to remember as they come and go throughout the area.
Questions for Todd?
No, thank you. Thank you for your willingness to take on this program. Appreciate it very much.
Absolutely. And
Yeah. Thank you. And just to clarify, these folks will be available to anyone in the West Haymarket. They might spend time in the rail yard. They'll be moving throughout the West Haymarket, which is, of course, the area of geography of the city that we are concerned with today.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about it, especially even when people are leaving or coming to arena events. Like, they're going to know, there's a lot of questions that people have. Our maintenance crew often asks that sometimes, but these will be people trained to answer those questions, and I'm really excited about that. And I think Tim would be excited about that as well. Savona with Pinnacle Bank Arena's visitor experience is really strong, and I think this will also help recruitment for more and more people to want to come downtown.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Diane Timmy Stinton, 3420 South 79th Street. I'm the owner and CEO of TMCO. We're located at 6th and J Street, just south of the Haymarket and adjacent to the South Haymarket Park. The concept for the South Haymarket Park has been in development now for a long time. I will admit that the first time that I saw the plans and designs for the park, I was pretty lukewarm at best. And having owned and operated a 50-year-old business in this corner of Lincoln, I had numerous concerns about the layout, the functionality, the security, the logistics, the larger vision for the area. Over numerous months, I watched the City of Lincoln and the Parks and Recreation Department revise these plans, reconsider the options, and continue to listen to feedback from businesses, community members, and neighbors. And much further down this process, after seeing revised plans, I also saw a city that was responsive to the concerns of its residents and stakeholders, an updated plan for a park that I believe can be very successful. As both a local amenity and a visitor attraction, I'm especially excited that this facility will be in close proximity to a number of our lower income neighbors and families, a truly accessible space that is designed to enrich the lives of our residents and also be a positive face of Lincoln to our visitors. In this request for additional investment to help ensure the safety and welcoming nature of the park and surrounding area, including the security agreement with the presence of the uniformed off-duty police officers and the proposal to create ambassadors in the Haymarket, I really appreciate that the city has thoughtfully considered positive activation for the space, investment in creating a safe and welcoming first impression to the park, and how this feeds into a longer-term vision of success of the park in the surrounding area. And for the amount of the investment in the park, I also appreciate that the city is thinking of all angles to ensure that the project reaches its vision and its full potential as a valuable community asset. And for this reason, I would like to voice my support in favor of both agreements. I believe this park will strengthen the perception of Lincoln as a growing, active, and welcoming community. It will become part of the identity of our city and how people, including residents, families, and visitors, experience Lincoln for generations to come. And because of this, I think it is vital that we do everything we can and we make every investment to ensure its success. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration.
Thank you.
Could I ask Stacy Klaus to come up, and Clay, if you wouldn't mind approaching, and then hopefully Kent Seacrest will follow that, and then we'll wrap up with Maggie Stuckey-Ross. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Stacy Klaus. I'm here representing Olson, 601 P Street. Through my career, I've been able to witness and experience the changes of the Haymarket firsthand. Experience fun of going to the events at PBA, the growing footprint of the Farmers Haymarket, our offices at Olson, and now South Haymarket Park. A place for families, as well as a place to bring guests when they visit Lincoln. I see the space as somewhere that will encourage people to visit again, and maybe even help them in their considerations of moving to Lincoln and becoming part of our thriving community. High amenity urban parks aren't just nice to have, they're essential to downtown residential growth, talent attraction and retention, tourism and the visitor experience, and continued redevelopment and reinvestment. From what we see every day in our work at Olson, parks and trails consistently drive real economic outcomes. They increase surrounding property values, support small businesses and startups, influence where employers choose to locate, and they matter in workforce decisions, especially for younger professionals and families. South Haymarket Park won't just serve the people and businesses already here. It will help to attract new people and new businesses. None of this works if people don't feel comfortable using the space, if people don't feel safe. A park can be beautifully designed, fully funded, but if it doesn't feel welcoming, it won't reach its full potential. That's why the proposed proactive visible security and ambassador approach is so important, sending a clear message that the park is a well cared for place, well managed, a place where families, visitors, and residents belong. That perception directly affects how often people visit, how long they stay, and whether they will choose to invest nearby. This proposal is forward-looking. It recognizes that successful public spaces need ongoing stewardship, flexibility to adapt as use evolves, the right mix of hospitality, security, and community presence. This is how we protect the public investment, not just on opening day, but over time. From Olson's perspective, and from what I see working closely with downtown and Haymarket Park partners, South Haymarket Park is exactly the kind of project that helps to move a city forward. Supporting these agreements helps ensure the park opens and continues to operate as the vibrant and welcoming destination it was always intended to be. I strongly support this investment.
Thank you. And I just want to say before you go, thank you to Olson for being the first to head into the West Haymarket as an employer. Your decision to set up headquarters in the West Haymarket was bold, and it has influenced all the success that has come since, and we're really grateful for that initial investment that you made, so thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Clay Smith. I'm the CEO of Speedway Motors and the general partner of Speedway Properties. We're at 340 Victory Lane here in Lincoln, Nebraska, 68528. Our family businesses have invested significantly in downtown Lincoln and its revitalization and also the development of the Haymarket since our founding. We were founded in 1952. We've engaged in restoring historic buildings, building new redevelopment buildings across the South Haymarket for over 40 years, and we were active in the visioning of the West Haymarket initially. We, along with our partners at Nelnet, have completed several important public-private partnerships along with the city to help recreate an environment that's welcoming in the Haymarket. That's Canopy Park, Lumberwork Lofts, and we got the Holy Grail, which was Canopy Market, to locate here in the Haymarket. We are excited to support the mayor's vision for the South Haymarket Park. We are confident in its success with this agreement going forward. We think that with the execution by our talented Parks Director, this is going to be a game changer for the Haymarket, so thank you. We believe that a family-friendly, active green space will greatly benefit our community and also encourage growth, not only for business, but also for tourism in downtown Lincoln and the South Haymarket. But we, as many, are concerned about security and the concerns that have been raised about security within the park. We've had a chance to review the agreements under consideration. We strongly support the proposed security agreement for the park, and we support the ambassador program. We're excited about this development, and we want to thank you for your leadership and thank you for your service to our community in total. Again, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. My name's Kent Seacrest, and I'm here to thank you. You and your predecessors on the JPA have been transformative, to say the least, and you deserve a big thanks along with your predecessors. Your original $256 million investment not only created an unbelievably success itself, but I want to talk about maybe 6 other things that aren't often publicly mentioned that you, the JPA, have created for our community that we need to thank you for. First of all, we turned 38 acres of an old rail yard that had its own set of problems into a very dynamic mixed-use urban district that helps everybody along the way. Secondly, residential. You know, you didn't start out in 2010 voting for a housing initiative project, but that's what you created for us. The 10 years after the arena has seen the biggest boom of downtown housing ever. And the last 5 years has continued that with another 1,600 dwelling units. Massive opportunities for everybody. 3, job creation. When you first voted in 2010, we had 27,000 workers. Today we're at 41,000, a 51% increase. And it shows up in hospitality, food service, tourism, UNL staff, tech, and engineering companies, which the mayor just acknowledged. You helped create the label Prairie, Silicon Prairie. You helped create some of the highest paying jobs in the West Haymarket area, things like Huddle, Olson, and Woolham, and others along the way. The fourth thing I think you did that you got to get real credit is you helped our community be willing to take risks. You shifted the risk tolerance in this community, which was so important, and you gave the community, the employers, the developers, confidence to invest in redevelopment opportunities. You showed that large redevelopment investments can be done in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is a huge start. You helped spin things like the Telegraph District. I am confident if we hadn't had the West Haymarket success, we wouldn't be having the Telegraph District success. And I think you created a template for the discussion that we're having about our new convention center, which is also a very important imperative. 5, I think you showed the downtown can be infrastructure efficient. And what I mean by that is before you started to vote in 2010, we set a lot of money out into the burbs expansion on impact fees and greenfield, and we're still doing that, which is important. But you turn and flip the tide to show that inner city investment, when you already have a $500 million of roads, water, and sewer that weren't fully utilized, that we can now fully utilize it more. And that is such a savings. Not only does it increase the tax base, but it helped fund and avoid us having to spend a lot of new dollars on new pipes and schools, et cetera, at the edge of our community. You help capture that tax revenue, which I think is important. And I think the sixth thing I just take my hat off to is you help set a new political and financial possibilities for Lincoln. You showed a model of collaboration that we had not ever seen before. The city working with the university and this county working together, the nonprofits working together on this vision that you helped create. The for-profits came along, and we've had so much better collaboration during this period thanks to your voting pattern. And we see the ripple effects still. They're still going on. But I'm really here to talk, and not only did it create, I think, more revenue for you, which we just got to hear about, which is exciting itself, but you create the opportunity today for a seventh effect, which is, again, the South Haymarket area. And that's an important thing. You know, just like 2010, the vote wasn't just an arena vote in hindsight. And today, your vote on a park isn't just about a park. It's about that opportunity and expansion of, again, taking an old industrial area and mixing it mixed use. And again, creating new housing opportunities. And again, keeping the expansion of job creation at the head of the pin where transportation gets there cheaper than when we spread out along the way. It's just been kind of a, how do I want to say it? Reduces development friction when you put a park in an area. It gives confidence to developers that that's an amenity that will help create not only the jobs but the housing. And one of the other things I think is so important is that there's three things that we need to do in this community, and you've done them. Housing. Got to have, we are trying to avoid the brain drain. People need housing. Number two, people need a quality job, and we've showed statistically you've done the best in there. But the third one, but you did that too, with called fun, activity, recreation, mental health, whatever. And the arena is something that has many, many days of that. But this park's going to do it on 365 potentially, which again is so important to keep the brain drain going along the way. You know, like the arena, the South Haymarket effect will compound over the decades. I'm confident of that. And I just want to again thank you and your predecessors, because you created the playbook that we now are asking you to continue to implement. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thanks for all you've done in the community,
Well,
because you've been a real pillar and visionary as well. And so I look at it being on the JPA, and we're just carrying out your vision, Clay's vision, on Jim Abel. I mean, we're just carrying out that vision. So it's really, we had the easy thing. You put it all together.
Well, no. An idea is simple. Implementation is always hard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This might be the right time to point out that we have one member of the JPA who is the OG member, and that's Regent Claire. He's been here the entire time, so kudos to you.
Yeah, and more money.
All right.
I don't know what OG stands for.
Well, thank you so much, JPA board members. I'm Maggie Stuckey-Ross, Parks and Recreation Director, 3131 O Street. You've heard a lot of information today about our vision and our plan, so I'm here to kind of wrap it up, and I would like to offer kind of some final notes about parks and security. In our industry, we look to the National Recreation and Parks Association, and they talk about a safe park being an integrative strategy that involves design, programming, maintenance, and involvement in the community. Our team every single day manages 168 parks. We work in partnership with Lincoln Police, with Centerpoint, with other community partners to make sure that everyone has an outstanding experience when they visit our park. Today, we're talking about an urban park in a very new world for us. This is a new facility. We don't have an experience like this in our system right now. And so what we're proposing today is very similar to what many of our peers are already doing. Rick talked about Omaha, but there are a lot of other communities that look to a security plan for their downtown iconic destination park. Rapid City, South Dakota, Columbus, Ohio, Tulsa, Madison, Wisconsin. The playbook is out there, and for us to be able to look at our partner communities and model after them has been really valuable. So as Rick said, we modeled a lot of this after what's happening up in Omaha. We are proposing comparable and in some cases an increased level of service at South Haymarket Park. I'll point out a couple notes. The Riverfront Park in Omaha is 9 times the size of South Haymarket Park. Jean Leahy is just one of 3 contiguous parks, 72 acres, and again, we are 8.5 acres. They do have security 24/7. We will as well. They have 1 officer for every 12 acres. This plan is 1 officer for obviously 8.5 acres, so that's a higher level of service. Security cameras have been brought up. The Riverfront Park does have a significant security camera system, 200 cameras. We're going to have 21 cameras. It basically equates to the same number of cameras per acre between the 2 sites. Both parks are operating with the same park hours. We have similar tools in place to address behaviors as we've talked about throughout the day. So again, at the end of the day, our department wants to provide an outstanding experience for anyone who visits our parks or our recreation facilities. This thoughtful plan for security is going to help us do that. We're really excited about it, and we appreciate your consideration today.
Thank you. Any questions for Director Stuckey-Ross?
I was going to make one more observation, and this doesn't involve you
I will
as
sit
much,
down,
Maggie, but
Regent.
I
Thank
was
you.
going to say about Kent. I think the common denominator, and it's been this way since I am the original OG or whatever it is. And I thought it was old guy is what it stood for. But I think the common denominator with the 3 people that serve on the JPA and the staff has been the putting the interests of the community at the top and sacrificing your representative city or city, county, university, putting that to the side and instead looking to just what's in the best interest of the city. And that's been the common denominator. And I think, you challenge businesses, you challenge your business yourself. Are you fighting this fight? Are you trying to get this done for the benefit of the company, or is it for personal gain? Is it, and if it's for the company, I think great things can happen if you keep your eyes focused on what the real prize is, as opposed to focusing it on, like a personal gain. I'm going to get this notoriety. I'm going to get my name in the paper. That doesn't matter. What matters is what's in the best interest of the community. And I really appreciate the work that my colleagues have done and past colleagues have done with respect to this organization, because it's really been a huge privilege to serve in this capacity and continue to see the development and continue to do the right thing, right? So thanks for your comments too again, Kent.
Maggie, sorry, I had a question for you, so I'd love to bring you back up. You mentioned activation of a park, and we've heard a lot about the folks who will be helping to make it a safe and welcoming environment. are there some park staff who will be there to help with that? Can you speak to that, please?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to have two different teams that are on site at South Haymarket Park. One is our operations team that are taking care of the daily needs of the facility, full-time staff that are reporting to the park every day. That will be their home base. And then we're also starting a new activation program within our department, and we will have an activator or an events coordinator, you might want to call it, who is helping to bring positive use into the park, all of the different amenities, coordinating schedules, making sure people know what's available, how they can use it, and how they can help us really bring the park to life. So yes, we're expecting a lot of activation, so much so that having someone coordinating all of it seemed like the right move.
Thank you. All right, okay, thank you. Would anyone else like to testify on these two items, 9 and 10, security agreement and the ambassador services agreement?
All right, seeing no one else come forward, I would move approval of item 26-5, the security agreement between the West Haymarket JPA and the City of Lincoln.
Second.
Right, we have moved by Beckius, seconded by Claire on item 9. Any further discussion?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just want to take a quick moment to thank the Parks Director, Chief of Staff Hoppy, for their work that has been very instrumental. Chris, Riley, a whole host of folks, Joe, thank you, that have really worked hard and diligently over these last few months to get us to where we are today. Just wanted to make and there's lots more people in the audience as well that have worked on this project, and just want to acknowledge you and thank you for your dedication there. South Haymarket Park will really be, I think, the icing on the cake to hundreds of millions of dollars of public and private investment in the district. I'm excited to see the park come to fruition and welcome visitors and downtown residents alike. It's going to be amazing. Thank you, Chair.
I also want to thank our community, all of the folks who came before us, the people in this room that helped lead us to this moment. We've heard a lot about this being a former rail yard. There were railroad tracks that were literally picked up and moved west to create new blocks of our community. That is an incredible feat in and of itself. It made this space, the physical space for this park, this vision that our community has had, and really this project is a testament to the strength, the vision, and the engagement of our community. We wouldn't be here today without that. I want to say special thanks to the folks who have testified to the wonderful aspects of this project, and South Haymarket Park will support the continued growth of residential living downtown. It will catalyze economic development and tourism for our community, and it will promote that healthy, livable, welcoming community that we all want. And it's one that is open to all. This park is for everyone. Anyone in our community, anyone visiting our community can access and enjoy this park, and it's really exciting to be a part of it. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0.
I would move approval of WH 26-6, resolution approving an agreement for services at South Haymarket Park between the West Haymarket JPA and the City of Lincoln. It's item 10.
Second.
Moved by Becky, seconded by Claire. Any further discussion? I just want to say thank you to Todd Ogden and the Downtown Lincoln Association for being incredible partners in community building and downtown vibrancy. We are so excited to have your additional services to help the park, to help the West Haymarket, to help downtown. And yep, this will put a friendly face on Lincoln. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. The next meeting date will be Thursday, April 23rd, 2026 at 2:30 p.m. here in council chambers.
I would move adjournment.
Second.
Moved by Becky, seconded by Claire. Please call the vote.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
We are adjourned.